Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal, on the second day of his China visit, had a hectic day today and braces for an equally busy day tomorrow. The Premier addressed the Nepal-China Business Forum that he attended shortly after arriving in Beijing, while he attended a reception at Nepal's embassy in Beijing earlier this evening. Premier Dahal is scheduled to call on his Chinese counterpart Li Keqiang, among other high-profile meetings. Good evening, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal urges Chinese investors to invest in Nepal. Bilateral talks to be held in Beijing tomorrow. India wary of Nepal-China ties. The government faces challenges in lawmaking amid politics of obstacles. Opposition blames lack of homework. Some 120,000 ethnic Armenians trying to flee the disputed Nagorno-Karabakh region fear ethnic cleansing. And National Sports Council charged of meddling with team management. NSC officials make Asian Games an opportunity for foreign tour. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal, during his ongoing China visit, is all geared up to sign bilateral agreements on infrastructure development, energy, education, health, agriculture, technology transfer, among others. Meanwhile, the Indian embassy in Nepal made several social media postings yesterday, the day Prime Minister Dahal reached Hangzhou, that highlight Indian assistance in Nepal's nation building. Foreign relations experts have called it a psychological game plan on behalf of India upon Nepal. Prime Minister Dahal paid a courtesy call on Chinese President Xi Jinping yesterday afternoon. The Indian embassy in Nepal almost coincided with their social media postings that reflected the role played by India on Nepal's development. The postings, made in both Nepali and English, have highlighted the agreements reached between Nepal and India during Prime Minister Dahal's India visit 3 months ago. Following the undeclared border blockade by India in the aftermath of the promulgation of the Constitution in 2015, there have been high-profile exchanges of visits between Nepal and China. India feels that Nepal is inching closer to China with agreements on transit, railway network, and Belt and Road Initiative, a China-funded strategic program. India has now become concerned with Nepal's preparations to move ahead with the BRI project. In the meantime, Prime Minister Dahal faces challenges in balancing the diplomatic ties with the two neighboring countries, India and China. China in recent days has distrusted Nepal as the Millennium Challenge Corporation MCC Nepal Compact has already entered implementation phase. However, Nepal's dilly-dallying stand on BRI has only frustrated China. Prior to leaving for China visit, Prime Minister Dahal had assured China in terms of not taking part in security programs such as China's Global Security Initiative and American Indo-Pacific Strategy. At a time when global power centers' interest in Nepal is growing, the Himalayan nation needs to take both the economic giants India and China into confidence while exhibiting clever diplomacy to suit the interests of the country. The federal parliament has to formulate many essential laws. However, the government has failed to present enough bills at the parliament. In the few bills that the government presented, disputes have surfaced. Due to the disputes and pressure created during the initial stage of preparing the bill, it has been a challenge to formulate new laws. As the school education bill was registered at the parliament, community school teachers from across the country resorted to street protests. The government had to reach an agreement with the agitating teachers even before discussions were held on the bill at the parliament. Prior to this, gambits from vested interest groups had halted important bills from moving forward. The Federal Civil Service Act had reached its final stage at the previous term of the parliament. However, the government had to recall it at the end due to gambits from civil servants and vested interests of political parties. Gambits are ongoing right now when the draft of the bill is being prepared. Due to this, it has been difficult to present the bill at the parliament. The bill related to transitional justice was also at its final stage during the previous term of the parliament. However, the bill could not be endorsed due to the vested interest of political parties. The situation is the same this time around as well. Likewise, the Police Adjustment Act was formulated, however, it has not been implemented. None of these sides are serious towards almost 40 laws that the federal parliament needs to formulate right away as per the Constitution. At the current situation, it will not be easy for the parliament to formulate laws. The main opposition, CPN-UML, claims that the government's negligence while preparing the draft has invited the current situation. Two main problems have been seen in the formulation of laws. The government has failed to move forward very essential bills. In the case of bills that are already prepared, the government surrenders to agreement after facing pressure. The current problem seen in law formation has affected various sectors of the state. Experts on parliamentary proceedings say that the government has failed to hold necessary consultations with concerned authorities while preparing the bill. If the political parties are divided regarding formulation of laws and the government does not show any interest, it is certain that the system will continue to become weaker. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. But before that, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we had asked you, what's your take on the issues that have surfaced in the data bank set up by government to secure government data? 85% voted for A, height of negligence, 10% voted for B, result of budget cut, and 5% voted for C, technical issues. And here's today's question. What's your take on the street protests launched in the face of the Parliament's failure to furnish laws? Your options are A, democratic practice, B, crisis of confidence, and C, signs of anarchy. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. This year's Him Sunil Risky Television Journalism Award has been awarded to journalists Mahesh Kesi from Kantipur Television and Shiva Silwal from Nepal Television. Minister for Communications and Information Technology, Rekha Sharma, handed the award to the journalists at a program organized today by the Federation of Nepali Journalists, Nepal Television Chapter. The two journalists shared a prize money of 100,000 rupees. Kesi of Rukum East works for Kantipur Television, while Silwal of Dhading is associated with Nepal Television. In our Public Voice segment today, we have asked people in several provinces, why have the Prime Minister and ministers not made their property details public? Let's take a look at what they had to say.
भ्रष्टाचारमा पर्छु अब अख्तियारले समाउँछ भनेर होला नभए किन नगरौँ देशको उच्च पदमा रहने सरकार चलाउने प्रमुख व्यक्तिहरूले एउटा सिस्टम बसाउनु पर्नेमा
सम्पत्ति विवरण अहिले बुझाइहाल्यो भने त उनीहरुसँग अथाह सम्पत्ति देखियो भने यो सम्पत्ति कहाँबाट आयो भन्ने हुन्छ भने गलत ढंगबाट आय आर्जन भएको पुष्टि हुन जान्छ
सम्पत्ति सार्वजनिक गर्दाखेरिमा चाहिँ भ्रष्टाचारको मुद्दा लाग्ने भन्ने डरले चाहिँ आफ्नो सम्पत्ति विवरण चाहिँ पेश गर्नुहुन्न
भ्रष्टाचार नगरेको हो भने त उहाँले सर्वत्र रूपमा यो खुलस्त रूपमा नेपाली जनताका सामु आफ्नो सम्पत्ति विवरण देखाइदियो भने त कसलाई केस भन्नुपर्ने छ र
मैले कर धेरै तिर्न पर्छ धेरै भएर सम्पत्ति धेरै आर्जन गरौँ भन्ने त्यस्तो किसिमको वातावरण सिर्जना हुन्छ भनेर हो क्या
जनतालाई नदेखे लुकाउन धेरै सम्पत्ति भएको हुन्छ त्यो सबै जनतालाई सार्वजनिक गरेपछि थाहा हुन्छ ठुलो पोस्टमा गएपछि यसले आफ्नो नाममा धेरै राख्यो भन्ने हुन्छ भनेर होला
उहाँहरुमा राजनीति जवाबदेही छैन
पैसा पेश गरेपछि अब करप्सन गरेको सर्लङ्गे थाहा पाइहाल्छ अनि सर्लङ्ग थाहा पायो भने किन पेश गर्छन् त
सुशासनको सन्दर्भमा संवेदनशील नभएको कारणले हो
उनीहरुको अकुत छ सम्पत्ति बाहिर आउँदाखेरि पब्लिकमा तरंग आउँछ पब्लिकमा अब के रोष प्रकट होला के होला त्यो डरले नगरेका हुन् उनीहरुले
It's time now for the international update. The 120,000 ethnic Armenians of Nagorno-Karabakh will leave for Armenia as they do not want to live as part of Azerbaijan and fear ethnic cleansing. Armenia's Prime Minister also said the Karabakh Armenians were likely to leave the region and that Armenia was ready to take them in following a defeat last week at the hands of Azerbaijan in a conflict dating to the fall of the Soviet Union. The Armenians of Karabakh, a territory internationally recognized as part of Azerbaijan but previously beyond Baku's control, were forced to declare a ceasefire on 20th of September after a lightning 24-hour military operation by the much larger Azerbaijani military. Azerbaijan says it will guarantee their rights and integrate the region, but the Armenians say they fear repression. A mass exodus could change the delicate balance of power in the South Caucasus region, a patchwork of ethnicities crisscrossed with oil and gas pipelines where Russia, the United States, Turkey, and Iran are jostling for influence. Last week's Azerbaijani victory appears to bring a decisive end to one of the decades-old frozen conflicts of the Soviet Union's dissolution. Armenia says more than 200 people were killed and 400 wounded in the Azerbaijani military operation. The fate of the ethnic Armenian population has raised concerns in Moscow, Washington, and Brussels.
Sports news.
The 19th Asian Games is currently underway in China's Hangzhou. As different participating nations have started winning medals, Nepal's poor performance at the game has continued. There are charges levied on the National Sports Council officials of making the games a platform for foreign tours. 253 Nepali players are participating at the Hangzhou Games in 29 different disciplines. The total number of members in the Nepali delegation in China has exceeded 400. The men's volleyball team has already returned home after losing all the group matches. The performance of other Nepali players is also not satisfactory. Even as sports enthusiasts back home are expressing fears that Nepal might return home empty-handed, the handling of team management by the National Sports Council has added to the problems seen in Nepal's performance at the Asian Games. Olympian Deepak Bishta, a noted taekwondo player, has been made the manager for the golf team, while karate's Deepak Shrestha has made the team manager of Wushu squad. Shooting's manager Rukesh Tandukar is associated with weightlifting, among others. Meanwhile, sports associations are unaware about the managers chosen for their respective sports, which further highlights the chaos in the selection of team managers for the Asian Games. Host China have clinched the first gold of the 19th Asian Games. The gold came in the rowing event of the Games. The team of Jaiki and Kui Sweeping won the first gold of the 19th Asian Games. In the event held at Fuyang Water Sports Center, China won the first gold in the lightweight double sculls. And that's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.